Welcome to the presentation series on developing inclusive community spaces. In this presentation, we'll discuss the role of occupational therapy practitioners. Specifically, by the end of this presentation, you will be able to describe the role of occupational therapy practitioners in creating inclusive community spaces. This information comes from the Occupational Therapy Practice Framework. The OT Practice Framework is an official document developed by the American Occupational Therapy Association. It describes occupational therapy practice to key stakeholders, and that includes people like students, people who receive OT services, policymakers, faculty, etc. In this presentation, I'll have quotes for you from the Occupational Therapy Practice Framework with their page numbers, so I'll tell you a little bit about the quote and then help you interpret it. So the overall scope of practice for occupational therapy practitioners as it relates to inclusive community spaces, they have two key quotes. One is occupational therapy practitioners recognize that for clients to truly achieve an existence of full participation, meaning, and purpose, clients must not only function but also engage comfortably with their world, which consists of a unique combination of contexts and environments. So what this quote is telling you is that in our practice framework, we recognize that the environment is important and that people who receive occupational therapy services, our clients, need to function in the environment. The second quote says, occupational therapy practitioners are concerned with the end result of participation and thus enable engagement through adaptations and modifications to the environment or objects within the environment when needed. So the first quote says that we believe, as occupational therapy practitioners, that the environment is important. The second quote says, not only do we think that the environment's important, but we believe that we can change the environment to help people do the things they need and want to do. So that's our scope of practice. And so also within our scope of practice, that means we need to evaluate and treat to enhance participation. So what does evaluation look like? Evaluation includes analyzing occupational performance, requires an understanding of the complex and dynamic interactions among client factors, performance skills, performance patterns, and context and environments, along with the activity demands of the occupation being performed. So what this is saying is occupational therapists, as they conduct the evaluation, they will investigate clients' occupational performance. That's how well clients do different tasks that they need and want to do in everyday life. When they're investigating the client's ability to do different tasks, they're not only going to look at the client, what they're able to do, what they need to do, but also the environment in which they are performing the activity. And that's one of the things that make occupational therapy practitioners really special, is because we are one of the few professions, health professions, that really look at the environment and think about changing the environment to enhance performance. So what this quote is saying is we're going to evaluate many things, but one of the things we're going to look at is the environment and how it's supporting or hindering people's ability to do the things they need and want to do in everyday life. That brings us to treatment. So occupational therapy practitioners, who are occupational therapy assistants and occupational therapists, can implement interventions, and the Occupational Therapy Practice Framework says to help clients achieve desired outcomes, occupational therapy practitioners facilitate interactions among the client, his or her environment and context, and the occupations in which he or she engages. So what this quote is saying is that to improve occupational performance, we can change the environment to make people better at doing the things they need and want to do. So in evaluation, we said that OTs will consider the environment and how it impacts performance. And in this slide, intervention, it says that OTs can change the environment to improve performance. Now, as you can see in all of the language, it talks about the environment and evaluation and treatment holistically. So OTs have many tools in their toolbox to both evaluate and treat, and evaluating and treating and making changes in the environment is one such tool, and that's the tool that we're going to focus on in this series of modules.